let's. I got that started, and it always takes a few minutes, and I do have things muted, thank goodness, so that's good. It always takes a minute. I just like to have it up. Like I don't go into.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
I really should just follow my own channel. Oh, it's doing that entirely.
I just posted it in the Alex Discord, so.
Cool. All right. Why is it not showing my channel though? That is so weird. Have I said too much in different places? Because I have been following people, you know, like in my Discord or to me. Sorry. Oh, Alex, as you said, Alex.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's weird. Like normally, the last time I did this, all I did was refresh my YouTube, and it was like, oh look, this shows up because you watch it all the time because I do streams, so I watch my streams. I just don't do it on that channel. I probably should. I just don't. It's just a pain in the butt changing it back and forth. I think this is me just telling you the levels of lazy that I go to in avoiding things that are annoying.
So we already have a few people in the chat, so that's exciting.
Yay! Hi guys.
It's just me and Tara right now, but that's always good. So
you know, the thing with Alex is he moves his stuff all the time. I'm not in there long enough to look, you know, and then there it is.
There it is.
There it is. Now I found it. Thank you, Alex. Love you, tits. Do you like the picture I used for this? I thought it was fantastic.
I thought my avatar is pretty good notion right now. So yeah, I'm on a temporary layoff right now myself, so I got a bit of time on my hands.
Yeah, I figured that was. I hoped it hadn't hit you that way, but I kind of worried because I know like even food joints that aren't necessary. Well, I mean, it's not like you couldn't do delivery, but that's still sketch. You know, at this point, that's still oddly sketch because you'd have to arrange it in a way that the delivery guy is safe. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I know a lot of places are doing that, and like this is the thing that makes me so mad. I don't have a problem with the government setting aside a little bit of money to help the companies that hire you, giving you a little bit of money too, you know, just to give you a little break in between. Not a lot, just enough to get you by. And it's not to be cheap to you or to be mean to you. It's just because like I realize that this is tax dollars. But for emergency's sake, I don't have a problem with that because if it saves the economy, if it saves your job, if it helps, you know, maybe you can spend the time. If you have elderly family that you know need the help, you know, you can help them out with deliveries or something. I don't know, but like that kind of stuff, I don't have a problem with that. It's just I don't have any faith in our government at all in terms of any kind of draconian control because they will take things too far, and it doesn't end after 2 years. They will change it because they always do. It's like with this thing, like you know, they hid all this. They tried to hide it all in, you know, it in plain sight, like we're dumb. And then Trudeau's like, oh, well, you know, I can't go because I might have coronavirus, even though I could have been tested like last week and probably found out within a day because I'm the prime minister. Of course, he's going to get it first. And I support that because even though I think he's a piece of shit, he's still the leader of our country. And then he could go back to work. Just like everybody else who is important in charge and needs to be leading our country needs to. And if they need to do conferences online from at home, we have the technology. We've had it for a long time. This is something that a lot of us have been joking about for years because these are all the like pro save the environment people. And it's like you could do your conferences from across the world, you know, online. It's just you would have to balance your time. And I realized that having some people stay up a little bit late is a pain in the dick.
I mean, sure. I mean, I can't say much because I'm up till like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning anyways because of my job, and because, well, I'm a gamer, you know.
So I'm gonna greet everybody because I finally got my shit working properly here. So hi Tara.
Yay.
Hey, I was gonna greet you again. I'm like, oh okay, well he's got the other icon. So Poitras, because I still call you new.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hi
It's my
Luna.
producer's account.
Hey Duck Duck. Hey Scotty. Yeah, I really wanted to do one of these because it's been a while, and like I said, I would like to hear how things are from your end. Like, what kind of stuff have you guys heard? Like, I know a lot of the rush of people coming back from the U.S. Some of them might go your end, like I know some of the elderly live in Florida, and I just don't understand what's taking them so long. Coming back, I mean.
Well, as far as I know, everybody that I have seen through over the world has to fly back in, but they're quarantined in military bases right now for 2 weeks so that they can get the proper treatment. So a buddy of mine actually just came back from China whenever this first kicked off, and he's just now getting out of quarantine as of like a week and a half ago. So he's finally home now. And he's just been like catching up with everybody as much as he can.
Well, I'm glad he's safe. Like I'm glad he's safe because it's like I've been saying. Like I am so mad at the left for making this portrayal. And yes, I get it. All right, I won't call it the Chinese virus. I'm calling it the commie virus because I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about the country, and yes, I am talking about the government there because. Saving face is not more important than saving lives, China. It never has been and it never will be, and it does make you look poorly. And I've said before, I think the first victims are actually absolutely Chinese. And all I want to do is do the best I can as a regular citizen to help prevent that from going to anybody else. And that includes Chinese Canadians. And I don't call them that because they're Canadians. A lot of them have been in Canada for longer than a lot of white people who live here. Just so you know, crazy liberals who don't seem to know that. A lot of them built our railroads, the ones where you're tipping trains.
Yeah.
A lot of them died for that so that their kids could have a better life. But that's a different topic. And that's another one that they've kind of just, they act like we forget that they were tipping trains like a month ago. Like that's a really good thing to do when, across the world there's a pandemic, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was just like, so let me get this straight. In the midst of a coronavirus, you want to stop all the railway services. That's fantastic.
Everyone that I knew across Canada who was on the opposite side of my province, I warned ahead that if you need medication, you get your medication now.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the other stuff. The other stuff you're going to be fine on because most of that stuff comes up from the US where it goes from city to city. A lot of it comes in from your side of the ports. It is actually quite like that. Like, what you guys use usually comes in from your end, and then what we use comes in from our end. It's not like they go all the way around the country and then we just ship to each other.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Luna did bring up a good point, though, saying that there is the Iranian genome of the virus as well, too, that nobody's talking about. So,
yeah.
Tinfoil hat, anybody?
See, and that's the thing, like, there's a good chance that when it spreads, it could mutate. So yeah. I am one of those logical people who lives in the modern era who's like, okay, well, if we could have nipped this in the butt before the strain got out that far, that would have been nice because then you can limit it from doing that, hopefully. Maybe not, but maybe you could. I don't know about you, but I remember as a Canadian citizen being one of those countries that came together to get rid of things like pox.
Yeah.
Penicillin was kind of this thing that we gave away to people because we want everyone to be healthy because it's a good thing for everybody.
Yeah, no, exactly. Unless you're like me who dies from penicillin.
Willowbark, I don't know what you do when you're allergic to it. I mean, they have other stuff nowadays.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah,
they have tons of other things, but you know, that's how we are as a world scale. And I've always felt like that was kind of one of those things that as human beings across the world we could come together on, is that nobody likes seeing their family members die like that, you know. And it's one of those things, like, sometimes you can stop violence from other human beings, but it's really a lot harder to fight like viruses, you know. It's a different battle entirely.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And not just anybody can really do it, and that's just, you know, not putting all doctors on pedestals, because they're not God either, for the record, folks. But
oh yeah, I know that feeling.
But at the same time, though, like they are our people that we have to support right now and do our best to back up. So I just, like I said, I'm trying to do my best to pay attention to what they're saying without other people misskewing what they're saying or pushing whatever narrative they want. And it's hard enough for the doctors to keep up with the narrative as it is.
Yeah. Check backstage.
Mm-hmm. Oh, do we have a visitor?
Yes, we do.
We do. We have an arms killer. Hello.
Hello there.
We are absolutely, yeah. Well, I am absolutely shitting on my country, but you know, that's what I do on here. Well, I try not to do it all the time. You know, we used to do the odd fun story, and you know, making fun of Trudeau was more making fun of the fact that he's a clown, and now he's like a serial killer clown.
Well, he's a serial killer clown that we cannot take seriously. Let's be honest here.
He's the guy who is running people over to death with bumper cars, and we're just letting him do it.
Oh, well, trying to.
Yes.
Yes.
And we're just sitting there watching him do it, like, should we stop him?
Nah, he's not going to do any harm. Just leave him there.
Leave him there.
Yeah. It's kind of like you see the old perverted, like, grandpa at the old folks' home chasing around the nurses. You're just like, aw, he's such a dirty pervert, but he's old, so I guess he's earned it.
Yeah, he's old.
I was just throwing out random stuff that I know, Luna. I was like, I don't think Willow Bark is the right one. I was just like, I know that some people drink that for stuff. Honestly, I don't even know. I'm just like vitamin C, chicken noodle soup, and NyQuil.
Neocitrin lemon gin. Sleep in your bathtub. That's my recommendation. I mean, you'll just sweat it all out anyways.
So. Deal with it, bitch. And I'm talking to that dog.
You know, the thing is like, I don't even know that Trump's even the guy to rain down on, because like, he honestly could be doing a lot better if people were just working with them, you know? Like, I think he is trying to listen to the doctors. It's just that he is Mayor Pete from the Goofy movie, who used to sell cars, trying to tell you about medical stuff. It's not going to be clear or make a lot of sense to people. And I realize that's frustrating. But I do think that his doctors, like the professionals trying to help him, they're all genuinely trying to help. You know, I mean, some of them might be experimenting. That's the worry too, that, you know, the odd guy might be using us as guinea pigs. Well, let's see if this will work.
To be completely honest, though, Luna, most countries kind of ignored it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't exactly unique in the United States. It was practically everywhere. And there was part of it was because the World Health Organization was giving mixed signals.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we have this virus in China. Don't panic. And then 3 days later, the whole country of China just shuts down. And then and then the World Health organizes like, well, that's the beans. I guess we're fucked. You know, everybody panic now.
So, even with the warning, it wasn't, well, to be fair, it wasn't even much of a warning. It was more like, oh yeah, there's a slight problem over there, but it's not going to be a problem here.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
The problem with full-on lockdown isn't about economy. It's not just about companies making money. Full-on lockdown means that people can't go out to get food. You know, like, what if you had an illness that wasn't related to the COVID and you just wanted to go to a pharmacy to get some medication for it? You know, it's not like people don't stock up, but like, if you have a cold and you need to go get some more cough syrup, you know, like, you need to have some things open. And that means that you have to have truck drivers to drive them to places. And that's easy enough to track and keep, you know, because they track all that stuff anyway. They have to. You have to track shipments, especially when it comes to consumable goods. For some stuff, I get the, you know, it's like the liquor store and the pot store reference. And it's like, you know what, they have put a limit on how many people on. I don't know that it's necessarily a necessity, but I understand people wanting to self-medicate for depression because a lot of people have lost jobs. It's not necessarily a good idea to go to booze, but I understand wanting to have a good glass of wine or beer if that's what you do when you're just like, I feel fucked.
Yeah.
Plus, anything 60 above is great for hand washing, and until the masses figure that out, I think your liquor is safe for now.
You know, and that's just it. It's just as long as people aren't doing it like jackasses, then I can understand the concern. But as long as people are doing it in a reasonable way, I understand that is being felt as a necessity right now. Because yeah, I understand some people wanting to have that big glass of, just don't do it every day. That's stupid. We are in quarantine and you should try to keep yourself healthy. That's not healthy.
Because alcohol poisoning is really not on the top list of rushing to the hospital for.
No, that's just it, right? But they think like, and here's the thing, there are the odd extremes where people are still lining up to stores and they're still letting in too many people. You should find those people. All right, I agree with that. You should find those people because there's a certain extent where it's like, okay, your own stupidity is killing other people. All right.
Natural selection is a reason, so
I would understand that if it didn't affect people who are trying to not do that. You know, it's those people doing that who then go into a grocery store where then, you know, and here's the one that
start licking shit.
You know, and this is another one of those things that really bothered me. And I was like, if I was in my area and I had a vehicle and I could set things up for my community, for like the elderly in my community, I would legit set something up to pick up the groceries for them. You know, they can pay me just the amount for the groceries that they want to buy. I would go to the store, I would get them for them, and I would deliver to them. I would use the gloves, I would use the hand sanitizer, I would use plastic bags. You know, all the things that you should do for the elderly to actually protect them so they don't actually have to go out to the stores. And the thing is a lot of the grocery chains, I don't know, does Superstore where you have that pickup stuff? Because we have it.
Oh yeah, we have it, and it's backlogged until like 2 months from now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like we were trying to like, okay, maybe we'll just do a pickup order. No, 2 months is the next earliest open spot.
See, that's the thing. I think they're trying to hire people for that, and I totally support that. And that's literally what I mean. Like, I would legit do that for my block, and I wouldn't charge them for it. As long as maybe they paid for the gas, maybe just the gas, I would just go out, purchase the groceries they want me to get them for them, you know, and I would do that for every single one of them. And I know that Canadians could do something like that. We could actually do something like that. And this is the thing. I don't see our community leaders like setting stuff like that up, you know, and it's not that extreme. Like if it did get that extreme, like that's the stuff I want to hear them talk about, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a vehicle. I can't, you know, I can't do those kinds of things, but I would like to hear that. Sorry.
No. Eventually it will happen because people will get bored. I mean, I had to walk up to the corner store myself today just to get like lottery tickets, and just the sheer amount of people that were out, like families just walking their dogs and their kids and getting them out for a bit of fresh air and stuff. It's just like, okay, I understand that social distancing is a thing, but these families are getting bored now for being on lockdown for only a week and a half. So it will be about time, like, eventually they will be like, okay, let's start helping out, like, the, you know, autoimmune deficiency people and the old people, because, like, here, like, they have set aside, what is it, an hour in the morning for all old people and people at risk to go into the store, do their shopping, and then get out, and then they lock it down, clean it all up, and then it's open up to the general public again. So,
you know what the other amazing thing is, and I'm sure you can appreciate this as a cook. But a lot of the things that have gone missing on the shelves are now those items. So everything that's left is the expensive stuff or the bullshit foods that you don't buy because they're kind of a waste of space in your closet. Unless you just want to get fat. I mean, not to say that I don't eat them because I don't occasionally want, I don't want the calories. If they didn't come with calories, I would eat them more often. But you know what I mean?
So, I get it.
So like the stuff that you would use to stretch out food, like a lot of that is gone. So it's like I'm having to buy it. You are spending a little bit more buying things that are a little bit more pricey than what you would normally buy because, and yet again, that's not too hard here. It's just, it's a little bit worse than it was last month. So some of that is frustrating, but that like my area is pretty busy. So I think they've been pretty good about stocking us up. But there's outliers in my city where I know that like people are they're doing exactly what Elwyn is doing and going to store to store to store. And I'm just like, I believe that we could handle it better. And yes, that would mean the grocery stores should have, they really should be hiring more people temporarily. They should just make a bus line of it. And it's not about the economy. It's just if you can hire people to do. One of these suggestions that I had was like literally like pick up the delivery stuff. Like there are ways that you can do that that's safe, where people can, and it doesn't have to be permanent. Like these people getting hired, no, it's not permanent, but it's just because people are bored anyway.
Yeah.
There are some young people who could probably do that and be fine, and it would make a lot of people feel better because at least you've got a few seconds to talk to another person, No, of course, and not just across the internet because that's fun. It's fun. I'm glad I can come on here and be like, fuck you, Trudeau.
It's just not the same, is it?
No, it really isn't because seeing another face and seeing somebody smile at you and reassure you like we're going to be okay, the endorphins mean a lot. we are a social species. Even introverts need the occasional like I don't want to hug, but like
just touch me and tell me that I'm real. So I don't feel like a ghost. I just want you to love me, but over there, please. Social distancing still.
Maybe you can use a crossbow to send a note to me.
Ooh, yes. Now would be the time to bring back archery.
So I got good news. Magic might be joining us. He's just eating something real quick. So I'm like, woohoo!
So we got the French Canadian new feed, the one from out west. We got an Englishman, and then we're gonna have a Frenchman. Now we got a show.
Now we got a show. Yeah, like I said, I was looking forward to having a chat with him because, if I bring someone in from BC, I can talk to them. Or if I bring someone in from Saskatchewan, I can talk to them. For the most part, if I bring someone in from Manitoba, unless they're like, further up north, because I hear they speak more French.
Yeah, they kind of do.
But, they're still, I think, I don't know. My understanding is they're still a little bit better at English than Quebec is. But with Quebec, like it's a small percentage that has a firm grasp of English and Magic's is fine. He's hard on himself on it, and I'm like, listen, if I was at your level at Quebec French, I would feel a lot more comfortable in my position right now.
No, exactly.
Just give me a second, guys. I need to get some water because it's one of those things where you talk a lot in Alberta and you're all of a sudden like, I sound like I got coronavirus. It's called the Alberta virus.
Or just how dry Alberta really is. Like I've never had so much water weight from anywhere I used to live is, Alberta. So dry. So, Armskiller, how are you, man? What's going on?
I'm doing fine.
That's good.
A couple of hours ago I was streaming, but I've been fine. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Just had to go for a walk and hopefully, it would be the best time to win $60 million tonight. If you think about it.
Well, that sounds, that sounds exciting.
I know, that would be so fantastic. I could get a lot of ducks in a row and make some magic happen. I could have a PC room. Just like, just take like a bedroom and then have like PC tower all over it.
I'm pretty sure you could buy a server with that too.
Yeah.
and still have a fuck ton of money to spare.
Yeah, exactly. I would totally do that. Just be like, okay, Facebook, I'm buying out one of your server buildings, so thanks. You know. But yeah, no, I've been temporarily laid off, like I said, so I'm just banging out the honeydew list with the misses, and just trying to keep sane. So
fair enough.
Yeah, so been playing, catching up on some good old classic video games as well too. So like 8-bit Mega Man and stuff like that. Also, Steam has been having some really good stuff on sale lately. It's very fascinating. So,
I think, I don't know if it's particularly because of coronavirus or just the fact that it's spring, but yeah, there are some good deals right now.
Yeah, like Tomb Raider from 2013 is for free right now.
Yeah, and that and Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris.
Yeah. Like they are having some really good sales on.
Picked those two up first chance I got.
And I am fist swapping my headphones because, yes, that took me that long to get cold water. Sorry it took me that long.
No worries.
Don't worry about it.
Just
all right.
Gamer nerds talking gamer things.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's good because that puts a break in the conversation. So I've been told by others for positive criticism because I am the type of person that you guys are more than welcome to give me positive criticism. Because I like to think that someday I could be a professional at this. Remind me to take proper pauses because I motor mouth a lot.
It's okay, no worries.
It's not your job, but sometimes I need a like poke.
If anything, you know what?
Hi, Kyler.
That kind of personality is a lot better for streaming than just being me and having a difficult time thinking what to say most of the time.
I think that's why people like to have me on because I will go into these random rambles and like the stuff that comes out of my mouth and people are like, where the hell is she getting this crap from? I don't know. It's that dusty place in the back of my head that I call the shelf where I usually leave things to rot.
It's all good. So yeah.
And it's one of those things. If I was a little bit better at illustrating things, or like if I actually did that as a more than just the odd hobby, and then posted them online, I think I would have been more successful in life because there's oddity people who do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my stuff doesn't go necessarily macabre, but like I can go from like innocent person dancing through a field of flowers to oh my god, there's a cliff.
Oh my god, the world's on fire.
Oh god, Duck Dog, really?
Yeah, I did say that. I didn't say I wanted to poke by anything other than a finger, though. I should have been more descriptive.
In certain contexts, that could be seen as horrible.
Arm only.
Remember, social distancing, and we're not in Belgium, so apparently threesomes and
I gotta admit,
threesomes, orgies are all canceled.
So that was a little thing on Twitter where I kind of laughed. So don't get me wrong, I don't agree with Jake Tapper on a lot of things, but he did this short interview with Joe Biden where Joe Biden just absolutely dead coughs into his hand and then just starts wiping his like shirt and pants, and Jake's face goes from like shock to like horrified, and he's like, "Sir, you know that you're better off sneezing into your sleeve, right? Like it's better for everyone and it's cleaner for everybody if you just put your face into your sleeve and then do that." And Joe's like, "Oh no, I'm just by myself in my house, so it'll be absolutely fine." And Jake's face just gets even more horrified because that's not true because he's got cameramen and lighting crew and he's got his makeup done because he's more orange than in that shot. I thought he looked more orange than Trump looks like on a good day. And that's old Trump.
Well, then again, you are talking about Joe Biden, the dude that is slowly losing his mind.
It was painful and it was really sad. It was painful and really sad because he just you know, he looks like he's aged 10 years in the last year. Like, even compared to last year. And I know he might be sick. I think he might be legit just sick. But it's just mean. You know? I'm not even giving him pity at this point. Like, I mean, I am. You know, like, he might be a horrible person. I don't know. But, like, at this point, he's so far gone, he doesn't know about it. He doesn't know where he is. He only knows he's Joe Biden.
And
well, at least he's not sniffing people anymore.
Sometimes he does that. He's had a couple.
Well, he did, you know, sucking his wife's fingers, didn't he?
Oh.
Yes, he did.
And that's his granddaughter, I believe.
Maybe. It's
Some
hard to
could
follow
assume
that
it was
stuff
quite
because
passionate, but
yeah,
it was concerning.
Yeah.
But no, even then, yeah, I definitely agree with what Jen's saying. Joe Biden is just—he's not well.
He's not well, and it's not even just his mind. Like I'm pretty sure that I am not a psychologist, and I'm pretty sure that you're not supposed to self-diagnose people over line. But I'm pretty sure that most people who are professionals who know better than to do that can still take a look at him and be like, yeah, he's probably due for a home where people can take care of him and make sure he's safe. And, you know, he could do just fine there, because it's not like he's so out of lunch that he can't enjoy the rest of his life, you know, but at least he's somewhere safe where people can take care of him.
I mean, the White House would be the better place for him, but I wouldn't.
No.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Yep. So I don't even know what I was going to do. Like, I had one article I was going to read, and I don't know if this is important or not, but it's by Scott Reed. He's an MP. So I just want to make sure who he's MP for, because I think he's Ontario.
I've never heard, but then again, I don't follow much politics nowadays because I got other things to worry about.
Okay, so I'll share this real quick, just to make sure I do.
Yeah, man, no worries. No worries.
And I don't have to worry about sound because it doesn't have that.
I've sort of fallen out of politics recently.
Yeah, I'm just gonna read this out because I haven't read the whole thing, but I'm sure there's stuff in there that's gonna make you be like, what? Or huh? Okay, so
crack.
Yeah. Okay, so Scott Reed, MP, why I'm in the House today. So it's March 24th, which, yes, it is. And that was 2020, which, yeah, well, that's good. And it was updated at 1:24, so 1:30-ish. If you read my essay below, I make it clear that my objections are completely procedural. Procedural. See, I always want to do that. Like, the E wants to wiggle in my mouth, and I don't know why. I have
Don't worry about it.
I have no. That sounds so horrible. The E in my mouth wants to wiggle. I have no objection to the relief measure bill passing today as long as the government provides it to the MPs with enough time to read and understand it, which I think that's, they should know.
Not really reasonable, you know, considering it's an emergency. Last thing you want to be doing is making a brash decision.
You know, and you don't want the odd person who's just freaking out, making up shit to throw in there, because they'll do that, and some of it will be like because they're stupid, and sometimes it'll be to exploit, and we don't want that either. The reason the House of Commons is suspended right now is because other MPs are working with the government to ensure the bill is acceptable to all MPs present. Scott Reed. Before I deny unanimous consent to the motion, which will be introduced in the House of Commons today, and also to leave a record in the case the government behaves responsibly and eliminates the need for me to do so, I think I ought to go to the public record explaining my reasons for denying my consent to the motion, which will be presented today when the House begins its emergency sitting. I ought also to outline the changes which would have to be made in order for me to give my consent. Moreover, I need to explain why I turned up in the House of Commons at all today, despite a request from whips of all parties that their members stay away from the House of Commons, and notwithstanding the Prime Minister admonishment that Canadians go home and stay home. Okay, this part I don't necessarily have a problem with. Like, yeah, go home, stay home, unless you need to go get groceries. Unless Justin wants to do some trips and start dropping off groceries for people. Some people need to eat food, okay? We don't have the means of people dropping stuff off for us like you do. The second explanation will follow after I've dealt with the first item. Why I cannot allow the House of Commons to adopt any further legislation sight unseen. On Friday, March 13th, a motion was adopted by unanimous consent in the House of Commons, along with a series of non-objectable measures, which were enumerated in the motion as items A through P. The motion included 2 provisions which are blatantly unconstitutional. These provisions caused the House of Commons to adopt the bills that I'm trying to read it too fast. That had not been given what we call first readings. My eyesight too. I see that as an L. Okay.
I think the problem is just take your time. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, calm down. In other words, the House adopted bills that it had not actually seen and whose contents were therefore unknown to the members of the House. More colloquially, the House agreed to buy a pig in a poke. What? More correctly, several pigs in a poke, since more than one bill was thereby enacted. Okay, this is something I gotta look up, because I don't know what the hell that means. To buy a pig in a poke. Or more correctly, several. Okay. Here are the offending provisions of the motion. D, the motion to concur the supplement estimates for the fiscal year ending March 31st. Did the interim apply for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2021? Yeah, that's not acceptable. We don't need to be doing this until 2021. Thank you very much. Be deemed adopted on division and appropriation bills based thereon be deemed to have been introduced and read a first time, deemed read a second time, and referred to a committee of a whole on division, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm not reading all that. Sorry.
So basically, it's a long-winded answer as to why he's there doing his job.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Jesus Christ.
So he's moaning because he's been called to do his job.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the thing. We have certain conservatives that you would call old red liberals who've crossed over to the conservative side. But
so
there's
neocons.
Yes, exactly. So they're doing stuff like this to make it seem like, oh yeah, we're really on your side. Yeah. He's gonna do what he's gonna do because he's been told that he's gonna get no positions in the party if he doesn't. So he's gonna toe the line. But if he doesn't say stuff like this, he's trying to make himself more appealing, or like, oh, I can talk to the other side, which means he's willing to do deals with them. And I don't have a problem with them doing deals with them if they're transparent. The only time I don't have a problem with them making deals as long as I know what the deal is and whether or not I've consented to it. You know, like I realize that individuals in Canada don't have all say on what's being done, but that's what we vote for people for, you know? So if he's doing deals with people, I want to know. He's on my list of I don't knows. I'm looking at Pierre a lot as like somebody I've been following. I'm gonna look into him a little bit more, but I don't know if you've been following him. Pollier, I can't pronounce his last name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, like I said, I try to stay away from politics as much as possible because it's just like I was waiting for it to become like this virus to become like so political, and it's happening right now. So I'm guys, it's a virus. Why are you making this about politics at this point?
No, exactly.
It's
like that's why I'm upset. You know, like I said, I would rather be hearing them talk about things that we can do like as communities, as provinces, as cities, as small towns to like help each other out, to protect each other, you know, and get through it and do it as quickly as as efficiently as we can. Like, it might take 3 months. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I only know what they've predicted based off of other shit,
Mm-hmm. No, it's just like, at this point in time, 3 simple rules, like I was telling the guys at work. Wash your eyes, wash your hands, wash your ass.
Yep.
You'll be fine.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
And if the person coming towards you looks like they're nasty,
stay the fuck away from them.
I mean, do that anyway.
Yeah, exactly. No,
exactly.
That's standard procedure as it is. But then, even then, most of the advice that they're giving us is standard procedure. Wash yourself. Yeah, that's... If you're not doing that, then there's something wrong.
Yeah, you're failing at life as it is if you just can't go wash yourself, regardless of, religious views or not,
It's just sort of... Like, some of the advice that's being given is advice you would be given anyway.
Yeah.
A lot more of what this guy is saying is calming too. Like, he's just like, a lot of what they're doing is based off of the hype that they've hyped up, that our media has hyped up, that they've allowed to hype up, that they've paid into hyping up.
Yeah.
And so, like, people in our country and worldwide have been sent into this wild panic, which that's what the professionals have been saying. Don't go into crowds and panic.
Yeah. It's like going into a movie theater and yelling fire.
Yeah.
But then,
it's like, oh.
In a way, whilst not an apt comparison to that, that's essentially what they've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, because all we've been hearing is, oh, the death rate is so high. Oh, we have this many people infected. Oh, we're going to have to lock down. All they've been doing is... Now, whilst all they've been doing is nothing but causing a panic.
Mm-hmm. A lot of it has to do with this simple fact that, like, if you do something like block the borders to somebody, it doesn't matter the reason that you're doing it. You're just automatically a racist. And I think this is something... I mean, that's just one of the excuses, but let's be real, that's the one that they've been banking on the most. So I'm just going to say it flat out. If I'm blocking the borders to you, it's because I think you need to protect yourself as well. And I'm protecting my own right now. It's not because I dislike you or your family members. It's because I think it's a better idea for everybody to do so. When time passes, it's not like I'm not going to check on people like, hey, are you still okay?
Well, think about it this way. It's sort of like, I don't know, that one guy just suddenly tries to break into your house. You're gonna be up there with a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, stay away from me, you crazy son of a bitch. Get out of my house.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much just another thing. If you don't want people in, you don't want people in.
It's not always about racism. Sometimes it's just because we don't want, more people to die or suffer. And honestly, measures could have been taken that, like everybody's been pointing out to, like, South Korea and honestly, most of the Asian countries around China. Hey, folks, when the neighbors around China are doing it, it's their way of telling you should do it too, because they have more history.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the thing with borders and migration and that is, it's not about race.
No.
Now, the reason to do such a thing could be racially motivated, but the reality is when it comes to the border, that is not inherently a race thing. And people seem to have forgotten this. It's like, looking at the UK about 10 years ago, like, most of the migration would have been Eastern Europeans.
Mm-hmm. And it was.
Exactly.
And it absolutely was. It's not like there's been stages of groups of Europeans that have been given shit just for moving here.
Exactly.
They're marked in our history books. It's like, oh, look, this is when the Jews came. Oh, look, this is when the Italians came. Oh, look, this is when the Irish came.
But even then, it's like that was pretty much that. Though were the predominant group of people that were entering the United Kingdom, but then, and I know this is irrelevant, but it only really started becoming a race issue during the migrant crisis and Brexit.
Mm-hmm.
It's very recently in the UK where that's actually become an issue or race-based issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a scary thought to think that so many people are fighting to, not even fighting, like they're putting a whole lot of people's lives at risk, and honestly, I don't know if you can't help wondering if they're legit trying to kill people, and it's just, and they're doing it in such a clowny way. It's like watching a really bad, I don't know, Bugs Bunny cartoon. Movie? Yeah.
It's like watching it, but it isn't scary.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just, I think that's what's frustrating. Like, there's a part of me who's like normally polite, but I just kind of really want to beat the hell out of these people just because they're so stupid.
Nah, I just want to watch them burn.
I mean,
yeah, that too, like,
but natural selection is a thing, and I
Precisely.
mean, at this point in time, we might as well just start taking off the warning labels and let whatever happens happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just take up the warning labels and get me the fucking popcorn.
Exactly. You know, 100% agree with you on that one.
And maybe a slushie. That would be nice.
Ooh, yeah, slushies. Come on, we gotta have the slushies. Come on, you gotta get the all three flavors together.
Yes, as much flavors as possible.
Yeah. Because you got the blue raspberry, you got the strawberry, and then you got the lime. Oh, put some vodka into it while you're at it.
Mm-hmm.
So, adventurous, are we?
Right. Oh, dude, slush. There's a drink here in Canada called slush. It's basically frozen orange and orange juice and lemonade, and then you just serve it with
grind it up.
Yeah. So yeah,
that's pretty much
that's just a bomb diggity.
Yeah, I fucking love slushes. It's been a while since I last had one. But that's besides the point.
The only exception, though, are the odd fruit ones and mixing them with the pop slushes. Like, there's the odd flavor that you can do that with, but then, like, there's people that I've seen, like, mix, like, 3 different fruit flavors with their, like, Pepsi-flavored slush, and I'm like...
Ew.
There's this thing called clashing of flavors.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you realize that all melts into one pool at the end, right? You should at least have things that kind of balance each other and make each other a little more nice.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, you're just drinking barf at that point with booze.
I think the dumbest one I saw, and this person didn't actually realize that they weren't, you know, because, you know, some places have slushy frozen coffee drinks now. Not all places, but, you know, some of the 7-Elevens have them. And they're kind of gross, actually. In terms of a slushy coffee drink, it's pure corn syrup flavored coffee drink. But I saw somebody mix one with the slushy, and I was just like, barf!
People have weird tastes.
They do. I was like, oh, okay.
Like, I will never know what the fuck is going through their heads, the crazy bastards, but okay.
I'm just like, okay, you know.
Yeah, but then these are the same people that like avocados on toast, you know?
Yeah.
See, I don't actually have a problem with avocados on toast. It's just if I have avocados on toast, then I also probably have cheese and bacon, and that makes it perfect.
Yeah, but avocados, the direct English translation is tree testicle.
Oh. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, avocados are...
It looks like one big testicle.
I guess so, if you're like the Green Giant.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like that's why, like, once I figured that out, I'm like, yeah, I'm never having avocados in my entire life.
I think I've tried avocado and I'm like, this tastes like absolute shit.
It's kind of a creamy well, for me, it's just a creamy flavor. I like it as like guacamole. Like if you do a nice guacamole with like onions and garlic, it's pretty good. I use that as a spread. But
it's like creamy. Like somebody take cauliflower and pulverize it into a cream.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it tastes like.
Mm-hmm. Which like and that's kind of the thing with avocado. Like it makes it good for like a vegetable to balance other things. Like if you want something to make something a little bit more creamy, it works like that. I like pureeing it into like dressings. Like certain dressings are really nice with it, but I don't overdo that either. Like we come from a culture that's like once we're told something is healthy, we overdo it for a really long time because.
I think that's just the Western world.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Capitalism, baby.
You know, not to say that it's not healthy for you, because like it is. It's just then we overdo it to the point where it's no longer. Oh well, okay.
Precisely. Everything needs to be done in moderation. Even avocado.
Avocado is like a chlorophyll flavored egg.
Love it.
Well, he's not entirely wrong, is he?
No, exactly. At least with eggs, it's more versatile. I mean, you know, fried chicken.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's not my favorite vegetable. I'm not necessarily going to entirely knock on it though, but it's not like the holy grail of vegetables either.
No, it's not.
I do like it as an alternative for like margarine though. Like I do use that one now as my margarine replacement, just because it's got a fairly nice flavor. And the burn is like because I cheat sometimes because I don't always have money for proper butter. Sometimes I'll use a little spoon of that if I'm wanting to add butter to a pan. It's got a fairly decent burn to it. You know, it's not like. Back in my early years when I was trying to eat healthy and I thought, oh, I'll just use this olive oil based margarine, and you go to cook something on the pan on it and you're like, oh yeah, it's olive oil. It doesn't cook the same. It's got a different temperature.
It does, yeah.
And also Ellen's in chat.
Hi, Ellen.
Ellen.
So I did give Functional a link to the stream, but like I didn't want to pressure him into it. I was just like, if he wants to come in just long enough to say fuck Trudeau, but if you want to come in long enough to say fuck Trudeau, I always have a door open to you, Elwin. So just letting you know, unless he's streaming, you know, because I know you guys share space and I know what apartments are like.
How is Functional anyway, Elwin?
Yeah,
last time I thought he wasn't too well.
Is he still pregnant? Is the bigger question. It's 2020. Got to get with the times, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
He's got to stop ordering that Chinese food. It'll make you pregnant for 2 months, and then you'll be like...
You lot are just assuming his gender. Holy shit.
Well, he says that he's a manly man, so...
He's binge watching Walking Dead. The other apocalypse, the one that's a little bit more satisfying to deal with, because then you just shoot people. And hope they don't eat you? Yeah.
That one just sounds like a more fun apocalypse. As horrible as it is in reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, I'd much rather have to worry about things I can just shoot than things I can't do anything about. You know?
Oh, and he's been playing World of Warcraft. Oh, that's understandable.
Nerd! Tell him I said that.
You know, it's no shade to him, because honestly, everything that's going on right now, it's just sheer stupidity. We're run by clowns, evil clowns, really dumb evil clowns, and I could just keep going with that.
Mental deficiency.
You know, it's like I'm writing poetry every day.
This is why it's no longer fun to take the piss out of him, because it's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer fun when we're having to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, just, you know, pay attention to what they're doing. If they start, you know, doing the commie walk and, like, if I ever see a case of people being blocked into their house by police officers, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to be having words with my my premier because I don't even know about that. Like, what do you do if you saw something like that happen, New? What would you do? Like, if you saw on the news that that there was a block somewhere in the country, regardless of where it was, where the police had blocked people in their homes to keep them from leaving.
One, I'd find out why that these particular people are on lockdown, because it could be, gang related, so might be an idea.
Yeah.
But if it's just virus related, I'd make it a point to find out, like, ask the questions like, okay, so these people are on lockdown. Are you going to be like making sure their day-to-day lives are taken care of? And like, like I can understand, like, again, it depends on the situation. If it's old people and it's like they're like borderline dementia or whatever reason, because like I can understand why they would have like old folks homes on lockdowns, right? But like, again, it's it would be for me very situational for me to be like, okay, this is good or this is bad,
Now, see, I would be okay with that, because what you've got there is the media reporting a story and giving you a reason. Now, I understand being a little bit skeptical because our media has 100%. Failed us enough to give you doubt when that's sad, because your explanation would be one that I would be like, okay, those are understandable reasons. Now, what if you heard that story, but they refused to tell you any of that?
Then I'd poke around and see what is really going on, because we have means of technology of getting the real story.
Because that raises a red flag, and that's the problem is they don't need to raise red flags with us. No. We're not going to start rioting if there's a good reason to keep somebody home. In fact, we'll probably send well wishes to the people.
Exactly, because like, the thing is like up here, it's just like there's this push because like people have been using social media. It's just like truck drivers, truck stops are now still open and stuff, but like some truck drivers, some families of truck drivers are saying like, hey, if you have some spare food, why not give it to a trucker and like give them a real home cooked meal, and as a means of saying thanks to do your job. But like, I don't know, it's a very hard, tricky situation, because it's just like, if the media blocks the fact, like, for example, bunch of Asian, like Chinatown here in Ottawa gets locked down completely. Nobody's in or out. Okay.
Yeah.
I would say I would question as to why, like find out why. Like, okay, is it because they're being threatened, or is it because of like, some type of racist whatever? I myself would be very curious about it. If it's for the Asian protection because of all the racism that's going on in the city, then I would understand that, right? But if it's just a means of just like, oh, because, they are the evil ones and they need to be, quarantined away from everybody else.
Yeah, no, that's horrible.
Then that's when
I would be concerned about that.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Like, I hear stuff like that, and it blows my mind, because I don't. Maybe it's because I've been staying at home like I've been told to do, which is easy because I'm an introvert. You don't have to encourage me much to do that. But everywhere I've gone, I've only ever seen people be kind to everybody. Like, I've never seen anybody not be kind and actually say words of kindness and encouragement, like stay safe and, well wishes to families that,
exactly.
So when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, is that really what's going on? And this is the thing that I've been feeling for the longest time, that like these extreme SJWs and whatnot, I feel like they're I think they're self-projecting. I felt that way for the longest time, because I care for every community in my city and in my province and in my country. Like, there is not a single place in my country where, like, if I thought I could go and help in a situation, I would go. I wouldn't even think twice. I would just go.
I think, as bad as this sounds, this particular situation is a situation where it's every man for himself.
I think so. I want to see what things are doing. It's yet again one of those things where I really haven't had a chat with my dad in a long time, and he's kind of like everybody else in this chat. Like normally I like talking about politics long enough to keep track of what's going on. Mm-hmm. But with this, the reason I'm in it so invested is because the stuff that I'm hearing from all sides is crazy talk.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I'm following it, because you're not wrong. It really is kind of an every man for themselves. And I'm willing to help out my community because I know my community. We've I've grown up with my community. You know, I know the people, I know my neighbors. And I know that we can work together, and that's something that's really important. Like everybody has to understand that, like, if the government turns its back on you, you got to remember that, if you've had the chance to know your neighbors, this is the good opportunity to. And I understand that you still have to social distance, that you might have to figure out a way to do it online. You know, you might have to figure out a way to make groups online. I don't know how we're going to do that. And that's one of the other things that I don't want. I don't want Trudeau having a hold of the internet, because he would do that too.
I think the whole issue is we're in a situation where we may have to rely on the government. Mm-hmm. And I'm not too fond of that idea.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm looking into who our leaders actually are. You know, like that's why I really want to know what it is that they're saying. I really want to know what their memos really are about, and I want to see their actions reflected.
Mm-hmm. I know that I was reading, I saw a headline saying, like, that, the option of Trudeau getting emergency power was on the table to deal with all of this. But then he came back and said that, no, I do not require emergency power, so that is off the table. So, there's, I got to give him credit for that.
Yeah.
Which kind of, by saying, well, yes, I have these executive powers, but no, I'm not going to abuse them. So kind of like the whole Star Wars Attack of the Clones, I think it is, the third movie.
Yeah.
The whole thing whenever, Revenge of the Sith. Whenever he gets full Senate power and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't really want to hand over all our freedoms to a guy who could be a hidden Sith Lord, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
And if that, he's the Jar Jar Binks Sith Lord. And I don't want to give him that title because he's not cool enough for that.
You're assuming he's competent enough to be a Sith Lord.
Right.
Be a goddamn stormtrooper if he
Gerald Butts and I think it's Richard Mornier. I'm trying so hard to pronounce his name. I really got to get Magic on here, because I know he can at least teach me how to say it properly, and I want to do that much at least, because I don't like doing that either. I do try to say people's names properly, but he's one of Trudeau's handlers. Yeah, I'm calling it.
But then I think this could also be a ploy, Oh, Trudeau says, I'm not going to use the emergency powers, but then that could all just be talk, if you get where I'm coming from.
I understand completely.
Because as much as he says it's off the table, no, it isn't. No, it is not.
Yeah, because it hasn't become a crisis yet until the riots happen. Because that's what's going to boil over soon enough.
Yeah, considering, yeah. But even then, emergency powers definitely not off the table.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, that's the one thing that I do really hate about politicians is all the wordplay. And yet, some people will say, oh, well, I can 100% trust my government. And yet you look at the wordplay that they use and you're just like, no, you cannot.
Yeah, that's... That's what makes it so frustrating. And they do it on purpose. It's like, listen, I realize that not everybody understands everything about what it is that you're talking about. There are levels where people just don't understand. But here's the thing, like majority of us have a basic idea of what it is that you're talking about. It's just when you talk in hoops and go all out with using words that most people don't use in general public, that we're just like, okay, can you stop doing that? Like, it's not like we don't have dictionaries or we can't look them up. It's just a pain in the ass to do it all the time when you know that there are 10 other words that mean the same thing that everybody else uses all the time.
Yeah, that's the part about Theresa May for a few years.
It's like I'm impressed by your vocabulary. That's great. You're a great English major, bro.
Yeah,
that's great. I just need to get to the point.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like quick blown smoke up people's asses and using these big words to make yourself more intellectually than you are, because you're not doing this in the back rooms.
And you're the same people who walk into the wrong door when you try to enter a building anyway. So shut up.
Exactly. Exactly.
I used to love that about my shifts at my first grocery store, because every single day there was at least 10 people who would walk into that door, and I'd be like, I'm not supposed to laugh. I'm not supposed to laugh. And somebody tried to get mad at me. And I'm like, they have it written on the door.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I would have laughed.
Right?
Yeah, I would have laughed too. 100%.
I'm sorry, but
I mean,
just give me the right back.
I usually wait until at least they enter the store first.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I used to work airport security, and sometimes they're not paying attention, and then they'll walk into like the glass wall barrier between like where like domestic flights are and the international flights to the US are. And it was just like, oh, so funny sometimes. Like I would have to like quickly walk away into a patrol area so I can have a good laugh about it. It was ridiculous. It's just like, I understand you're very stressed out about working or like being at the airport, but at the same time, just understand that glass cannot be walked through.
I go to send Elwyn the link to the stream, and there I go sending her the link to YouTube, but I'm just like, damn it, Jen.
Aw.
Silly. Let me delete that so you get the right one, but
yeah,
she doesn't have to join either. Oh, yeah. No, you're fine. I just wanted to give her the opportunity because I mentioned it and then I forgot to actually do it. So.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Just gotta go bleed the lizard.
You gotta go Bloodwing. I don't even know if I'm okay. Good.
You are at this point. I think Bloodwing takes a piss less than Peter Almond does.
You know what? He was stretching it out. It's yet again one of those things where I feel for him, because that's kind of one of those things that you're supposed to do when you have bladder problems. Especially as you get older, you're supposed to try to train your bladder to hold it longer, because you should be able to hold it. And I mean, when you get older, it does become more difficult because your bladder does get a little bit weaker. But it's yet again, it's one of those things where you're supposed to train muscles. So I was told, because I've had issues on and off with that. Anything can set me off and make me feel like if I don't go to the bathroom, I'm gonna have issues. And that could be anywhere from walking in and out of a room that's just mildly different temperatures. So that a lot of that has to do with your head. So the idea is you have to convince your body that yes, you can hold it a little bit longer. And you have to be like, oh, do I have to pee, or am I convincing my brain that I have to pee? And that's how that one works. But then you reach the age where no, it's just really that your bladder is weak and you should just get some Depends. And I know that's not a humiliation joke. It's just that's a reality. And someday that might be me if I'm lucky to make it that long. Not because I'm not healthy. I'm just saying.
If I'm lucky to make it that long, shoot me. Real shit. If I'm completely fucking useless and have no mental capacity, you know what? I'm done. And wow, that went dark real quick. Fuck.
Well, for that one, it's not necessarily that you pee yourself all the time. It just means that sometimes you dribble a little bit before you can actually make it to the bathroom. And that's why you wear the Depends, because it helps keep you clean. It's also people with like medical issues would tell you the same thing. They don't need to die for it. It just means that they can get to the bathroom. It's just like, you know, maybe 1 out of 10 is like, I just couldn't quite make it there.
Fair enough.
All right.
Granted, I was sort of hinting more of the older ages.
Yeah, well, when you can't even leave the bed and you can't even eat and you can't really speak and you don't understand what people are saying around you, and yeah, there's it's a level of if I have nothing left.
It sounds like a miserable existence.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's one of those. And I know how Blind Girl feels about that one. Like, I've heard her rants. But it's like I said, it's one of those legal things where I do believe someday we will figure out a way to work that out, where you can figure it out.
I disagree. I think it's always going to be an incredibly controversial subject.
Yeah, because people still want to murder each other.
I just believe it's never going to be ironed out.
Yeah.
On a lighter note, I made my first ever donation.
Did you?
Yeah, Pumpkin Trucker gave me $1.
Oh yeah. That was nice. That was very nice of you, Trucker. I know he's not watching. He might be watching. Might be one of those things where he came back in just when I said his name.
I'm still glad I made $1. It's not even the fact that I got $1. It's just the fact that people would actually consider that in the first place. You know? It's the idea that people would actually enjoy your stuff that much to give you $1. Like, it's not really the amount. If you know where I'm coming from.
Oh yeah, I entirely agree. It was like that with DLive with me. You know, when randos would come on and just like give me a couple of Linos, and Linos are like 0.13 cents or something like that. So like, it wasn't really about the money. It was just more like, oh, this person, I've never even talked to this person before. This isn't somebody who follows the people that I follow. And they just randomly gave me some Linos. And yeah, it's a nice feeling. I mean, I haven't done a lot of pushing on the YouTubes. I really need to get back to doing it more seriously. It's just, I got to figure out what it is that I need to do. I have to do a deep clean on my computer because my games aren't running properly. So that one was frustrating. But these level of streams aren't hard on my computer. As long as I'm not like sharing too much video or doing too much.
As long as you're not doing too many processes at once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's basically it. Because the thing is my computer just sucks in everything in my house. It works better than my vacuum cleaner. I'm like, if I could just rub you on my floor and then clean you out and replace you with a better computer. But it doesn't work like that. So yeah, it's at that stage where I need to clean it out. And if I load anything up, it's just like, you've got 5 minutes to play this game. And then it shuts down. And yeah.
It sounds like a power supply issue.
It's a little bit of that, but it's mostly just, trust me, the last time I cleaned it out, and honestly, that was not that long ago, but I think if I go past a month and a half, it's too long. And the time before that, I had stretched it out too long yet again, because Alberta is this place that goes through 7 and 8 winters. And my apartment is the kind of thing where, like I said, it sucks in everything, and outside is always in a state of like different defrosting, so moist. I just wait for that one day where it's just warm enough and dry enough to go out, spray the shit out. You know, I wipe it down. You know, I let it dry for like half an hour, and then once it's done, I boot it up and play a game, and then I play for like about 2 weeks straight. Because it's fine, and then and usually after that time, I've burnt myself out on games.
Fair enough.
Just don't forget to use soapy water. Clean it up properly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, jeez.
As he says sarcastically, by the way.
I
heard fish tank cleaners are very good for that stuff too.
Oh yeah, I heard it's so good. It's promising.
Like this, these are the same people who will talk about prescription drugs like people take 2 grams of anything, and I'm like, maybe if you're talking about pot.
Like, I swear that guy that fucking died to consuming fish fucking cleaner.
Like, you know, there was a time a couple of years ago where people were putting Tide Pod packs in their mouth. Come on.
Oh, the Tide Pod challenge. Yeah, I remember that.
You know, and I know that like there was a lot worse than that. I just don't keep track of all the stupid shit that people do because
I look at that with disdain for people of my age group.
You know, and that's where I agree with you about natural selection. It's like, I'm really sorry for your family, but at the same time, though, I'm like, well, why was he so many levels of dumb? Like, I know that that's not necessarily genetics.
I'm sorry for your loss, but your son is mentally retarded.
Yeah, anything for the views, right?
Yeah.
Same with the girls. Like, I mean, there was just a couple, you know, there were a couple girls licking toilets, and I was like, you know, there's a lot worse things than coronavirus that you could get from doing that, right?
See, that's the part that pisses me off the most. It's just like, oh, specific. Yeah, I'm just gonna go look at toilets. So coronavirus, bitch, you're gonna get herpes,
right?
Plain and simple.
You know, like, and not just to mention, like, getting any sort of feces on your face or in your mouth is just.
Yeah. Salmonella poisoning is another thing too. Blood poisoning because of the feces.
Hepatitis.
It's just like, yeah. It's just like, you know, natural selection is a very wonderful thing, but yet sadly they're going to burden the health system until they die from their own stupidity.
You know, maybe
don't forget about AIDS.
You know, maybe that's something they did to my generation, because I know there was a lot of harping on, like, when they were trying to convince kids not to go out and have sex. They like, I remember my school, and like they really hammered in on, like, you know, diseases that you could get, and that was like admittedly one of the reasons that I put off having sex for the longest time, because it was just like, I really have to trust someone to be honest with me about that kind of shit, don't I? You know, because there are legit people who will lie about it, and it's like, I realize that you just wanted to take the choice from me, because yeah, you're right. There is a good choice. There is a good chance I could say no if you have a disease, that I might say, no, you know what? I don't want to take my chances with this one, you know?
No, exactly.
But at the same time, if I at least know about it and I really like the person, I can do a lot of things to still protect myself and it not be an issue. And so, yeah, like when I left school, it did stop me from starting a lot of relationships, because it was like, do I really like you enough to really trust that you're going to be honest with me if you do? And you know, I don't know if you've ever heard the odd story of like the 50-year-olds where, you know, they were married for 50 years, but one of the spouses suddenly gets like a sexually transmitted disease, and they're like, how did I get this? And you realize that, you know, spouse has been.
Oh no, arms killer is gone.
Oh no. Uh-oh. Oh, you know, no, he didn't have anything else going on. Oh, no, there he is.
Sorry, just
probably
DC.
dropped the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no,
downloading Doom.
But yeah, like
was the problem.
Yeah, that was a lot of my generation, you know. So like, not every kid was the same. Like, there's always the odd kid who will do gross stuff because he's an asshole. It's not because he doesn't know better. He's just an asshole. And he never gets it. And then, yeah, there's just kids who just lie all the time, so they give it to other kids. And they're just, yeah, there are people who do stuff like that. And so, yeah, my level of trust when it comes to sex is like that. That's usually, I'm the weird female that way, like, guys. Like, some women like to use sex to just use men and control the relationship. I'm more like, I just don't want to get diseases or get pregnant out, you know, outside of wedlock. It's just like, you don't, you know, it's just that's one of those beliefs that I do have. I do think that you should try to be a family first before you have kids.
No, which is fair, because we all know the adage that, you know, kids save relationships. Again, sarcasm.
And that's where my MRA comes out, because I still pray for the day that some scientist finds a way that is safe for you guys to protect yourself from planting your babies in people you don't want to plant your babies in.
It's called a condom, or blowing the load on the tits.
Contraceptives.
Yeah.
And anyone that thinks that using abortion as a contraceptive is a horrible person.
I agree with that
too. 100%. 100% with you on that one. You know, like, what was it? There was an article I saw not too long ago about a woman who's had like 10 abortions and now she can never have kids again.
Good.
Because she screwed up her uterus that much.
She could have just tied her tubes in the first place. I know those aren't permanent, but like it's better than doing that shit over and over again.
Yeah.
Like,
and now she's full of regret and now looking into adoptions, and it's just like,
no, fuck you.
You put yourself in this situation, so play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
You know, like I'm sorry. That's one of those things where I'm a little bit pro-life and I'm a little bit pro-choice. I'm pro. If you are the kind of asshole that wants to kill your kids, you go do that, but you do it on your own dime.
I think there are exceptional circumstances, and I mean, it's gonna kill the baby or something like that.
Yeah, there are. Listen, there's always certain circumstances where, yeah, my opinion changes a little bit. So, like, this one lady that I know, she'd only ever really had the one abortion, but she's just one of those people who did everything she could possibly think of to do to not get pregnant, and she still got pregnant. And after she had that one, she got her tubes tied because she really couldn't have a kid. I think she could have given it up for adoption. I don't know what her reasonings were for the rest of that, but you know, I realized that that's different for different women. Like, I don't know what your excuses are for your decision making, but I could kind of understand what she was doing, and she did it within like a month. So my feelings there are a little bit different than, like, you know, a baby that's been in your womb for like 2.5 months. Okay, because there's a huge difference. I'm not so intellectually dishonest as that.
I think it's just a matter of do your research. You know, understand that there are consequences to sexual interaction, and if you and if you are more than willing to deal with all of that, then fair enough.
You know, like, and when I say that she had done everything she could, I mean to say she was on the pill and she was also using condoms. And sometimes they even use the stuff that you spray in to kill anything. And that's what I made. She was doing all that stuff and she still managed to get pregnant. There is the odd person who's just a fluke 1%er, okay? But that's...
There's a spray?
Yeah, there used to be a spray. I think they don't use it anymore because it's like a lot of things that was pushed down back in the day. Oh, this works. It does kill the sperm, but it also does other things.
Causes cancer.
You'd be surprised.
Have teeth.
I think a couple years ago they were experimenting with a male contraceptive.
Yes, by using spider venom.
But then I think the reason why that didn't go through was because it made people infertile.
Yes. And they were also injecting it into the testicles as well, too.
Yeah, so yikes.
That kind of scared off a lot of guys. Yeah,
last thing you want is a needle in your balls.
Yeah, it's one of those, like I said, that it's the justice bone in my head. That's like, I wish men had at least 3 or 4 options that worked for them, you know. And yes, condoms are one of them. But like when you realize the only concrete way to confirm that you won't get somebody pregnant, and even then, sometimes that fails, is to cut yourself inside. I feel like that goes against my justice bone. And I'm like, yeah, I would like to I don't mind some of the research money going into like giving men a little bit more options. Like I said, I have that little bit of pro-choice that I am is the belief that yes, you should have the say on what goes on with your body to a certain extent, as long as I don't have to pay for it.
I think that's just it when it comes to, you know, the whole abortion issue.
I feel bad for the kids. I do feel bad for the undead children because I don't think it's their fault that they were born to the circumstances. But
it's sort of the, and I mean, this is the biggest issue with the extreme pro-abortion side, and that is my body, my choice. You know, I have the right to do this. Well, what about the right of that unborn child?
Yeah.
What about their rights? Because you're stripping their rights because of whatever reason.
That's the sad brutality of it. Is like that's where they're gonna go with it. Like I don't agree with it. Don't get me wrong. I agree with you.
The thing is, there are circumstances where it's perfectly acceptable, and that because the whole abortion issue is so grey. But to say that isn't going to be a child at some point, that isn't going to, you know, have its own life.
Believe me, I agree with you. Like upon conception, that is a human life. That is something that I do believe.
Yeah, that's why.
You know, but like where I stand in terms of abortion, like. And it's there's a part of me that doesn't think it's ever really okay. But like if I was in the position where I don't really know, I think I would choose to give birth. But when I was younger, that might have changed. You know, if I'd been raped, you know, like I said, the really really small portion of people that they try to make their case on, if I'd ever been raped or in that circumstance, I don't know where my thinking would be. You know, because that's different psychology going through your head. But I would still limit that to the first month because I would know that there is a possibility I would get pregnant. So of course I would be checking right away. So if I would be giving myself the 2 weeks to 4 week period to make that decision on whether or not I could handle giving birth to this kid, because I think a little bit too much psychology when it comes to genetics and that. Like I don't blame the kid for the actions of the dad.
Yeah.
But if the actions of the dad are caused by like mental illness and things like that, stuff that I have no knowledge on whether or not that's transferred to a child, I might say no. And that's the thing. I don't know that. That's part of the problem is you can't educate yourself on everything.
Yeah.
I still don't blame the child, but if I was young and in that situation, I don't know that my compassion could overwrite that, you know?
But then it's sort of it's incredibly complicated. And then Kyla does make a good point. You know, but even then it's sort of going into the what if sort of scenario.
And I agree with you too, Kyler, because like now that I'm older, and here's the thing, I didn't put myself in that position. And luckily I've never faced the odd position where it was clearly a rape. You know, like I don't live in a country where everywhere I walk, I have to worry. And I don't live in a time zone where it's like that. And yes, it's still like, yeah, there's the odd place where there are bad people in the world. But I've never put myself in the position like that. And maybe I'm a little bit autistic this way because I'm pretty clear with people. Like if you're not upfront with me about wanting to have sex, I'm not going to do it with you. And I'm not going to be in a room with you alone. If you're a man, because of legal reasons and you know,
I think thinking about sex now, granted I've never actually had any, but no, real talk. I think it's just sort of it's all. I don't think explicit consent can work in that sort of scenario.
And for the record, when I say that too, like if I was in a room with a guy, you know, that means I know you well enough that I feel safe with you in the room. That doesn't mean I wouldn't do that. It's just I'm not going to do that with men that I'm unsure of or that, you know, I don't know are perfectly clear with the fact that I'm not in that kind of relationship.
You wouldn't be in that situation if you didn't have a degree of trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the difference. I have hung out with men before because I'm a gamer and nerds are absolutely, you can be a girl and hang out with guys and play games.
Yeah, it's not really a weird concept.
No.
Definitely not.
No. And not all of those women abuse those men. I know there are some women who do that, and fuck you, bitches. Don't do that. But if they're doing that, I think there's lists of things that you should make for your own red flags for, because there are abusive people in the world too, and they come in all genders. But I'm not worried about that either, because I make those checks when I talk to people.
Carla, this is a safe space for horrible jokes.
You can absolutely say something creepy. I have a good sense of humor, you know. But like I said, like it is true that unfortunately there are some guys that I've judged as being creepy. I don't know if they were legit creepy, but if you scared me or made me feel uncomfortable, and I avoided you, I was going with my instincts.
And that's all you can really do at this point.
Yeah, it's all based on gut feeling, really.
Yeah. And I try to make that clear. Like, it's never meant to hurt anybody's feelings. It's just, maybe I think a lot of people don't read each other very well as it is. And that just happens. If I can't read you well, there's a good chance I might avoid you a little bit.
No, exactly. Which is like, you know, it's kind of like, if you can't practice smart, like, social interactions with people, then that's your stupidity, nobody else's, really.
Yeah. And I do that for the other reason of, like, I don't want to cause problems for the other person either.
I think, think about it this way. You make a bunch of decisions in one conversation anyway.
Yep.
And any one of those decisions could be a fuck up.
Sometimes it's just making sure that I'm wording things properly, because sometimes I've used the wrong words when I've been talking. It's just, I was thinking about what it was I was trying to say, and it just came out. That just happens. I'm human.
No, of course. I mean, I have no filter myself, and I've said stuff that gotten me into trouble, or people has, like, misunderstood. And so, like, this is why I'm like, it's just sarcasm. It's just a joke. You know.
And yeah, I mean, me and filters don't work all too well.
And that's okay too. Like, I mean, yeah, sometimes you might have to backtrack, see what it was that you said, and be like, okay, I worded this wrong. Like, I was trying to get something across, or yeah, I was trying to liven things up, because I keep joking with Scotty about the bagpipes thing. You know, I think that Scotland should do, like, at least a 5-minute clip of Scottish people on their balconies serenading each other with bagpipes.
That just sounds like fun,
right? I mean, I wouldn't do it for days, because that would be really annoying.
I mean, we also saw Count Dankula's post with Tailed Feature.
That was amazing. I loved that.
Also,
those guys were just taking a...
I'm pretty sure that's most people in general.
But, like, I'm the type of person who wants to crack jokes during a situation, especially, you know, like right now, a lot of people I know are at home and just bored. Like, it's not just that shit is happening. They're bored. Bored people thinking too much are a danger to themselves. I'm no different. I know. That's why I come on here and I talk to people, because then I calm down. In my irrational thoughts, I can share them with you guys, and you can laugh at me for a few minutes. and I laugh at myself too.
Why do you think I watch Peter's streams? You know, it's to take the piss out of the guy.
Yep.
Nah, real shit. It's, you know, humor really is really fucking helpful.
It is.
Patch Adams was a guy, I believe. I mean, I know he was played by Adam, by Robin Williams, and I miss Robin Williams. We could definitely use a Robin Williams.
Yeah, Robin Williams was taken too soon, man.
Yeah, too soon.
You know, but he, you know, that movie, he wasn't entirely wrong. Like, endorphins and smiling and staying cheerful and staying hopeful gives people something to fight for too. And honestly, we really aren't that bad yet. We really aren't.
No.
We're not even close. If I was in a small country that didn't have what we have, I can understand being a little bit more remote.
I think,
but even then, I don't think I would.
I think looking at the coronavirus situation and looking at previous outbreaks, we've gone through this before. We will go through it again and again and again. That's just how it is.
And the other thing too is every time we go through it, we learn more about them, and the more we learn more about them, the stronger we are at fighting them. Like, if you compare now to even just the Spanish flu, and that legitimately is the best one to go to because it's the most current. We are nowhere near what they were in, because like every documentary that I look up, they're like it was a lot of soldiers packed into trains going from place to place, in places where the socialization was packed, to cities where people were packed. And then a lot of the officials didn't talk, like they didn't announce anything. They didn't alert people. So people would go to parades and stand in crowds where like all it takes is 10 people who are sick to spread it to like thousands. We have communication now, and we still have officials who are trying to play that kind of crap. So that's why I'm mad. But we're not dumb anymore. We have the internet. I have Newfie that I can bring on, and I can talk and say like, "Well, how's your neighborhood doing? How's your neighborhood doing?"
Busy.
I mean, busy.
But I never realized how many people have dogs in our neighborhood. It's like,
all right.
Anytime I look out at any point, there's always people walking dogs, and I'm just like, I want to rush and pet those dogs, but I think that would be really weird. Just like, I've never seen this neighbor before. Why is he petting my dog? You know? But all doggos are good doggos.
An update on the whole coronavirus thing.
Oh, yeah?
Apparently, considering how slow coronavirus is actually mutating, we could have a possible vaccination within 1 to 2 years.
Yeah. And actually, and I don't want to push, sorry, I'm turning something on. I don't want to push Trump propaganda, but like I've heard a couple of stories about people recovering using one of the suggestions that he made. And yet again, this is one of those things where they're going to have to try it on a lot of people, because just because it saves 1 or 2 people doesn't mean it's going to save 10 or 100 people. But I if it saves 1 or 2 people right now, I'm happy. Good. And if someone else can find another one that works, that's also good, because it's good to have more than one option, because what works for some people might not work for everybody. So I think we are going to be fine. I think the world as a whole, I think we have as a whole come together, and I think we are supporting each other. And I think everybody's equally pissed off at their governments at this point.
I think at this point, yes.
At this point, we're all looking at each other. I'm like, God damn it, really?
At this point, we've come this far. The government to go fuck themselves.
Really? Like, we've all come this far, and we're like, do you guys still think we're like the peasants of the past? We're not.
Some of them.
Some of them, yes. And I want them to be better, too. Oh, France has just been fucked.
Yeah, no, France is stealing British resources. Fuck them.
No, I'm talking about their numbers. I didn't mean to look into their... I usually wait until later, but I think...
Oh, no, screw France. France can go burn in a horrible fire. Like they're legitimately holding back resources.
But I have one friend from there named Sam, and I don't want Sam to... I like Sam. He's not...
Alright, forget Sam. Everyone else can burn.
Okay. Because Sam, I mean, mind you, he sounds almost British anyway. So, I mean, you know, he could pass.
Forget Sam. Everyone else can burn for holding back supplies that were supposed to go to Britain.
Yeah, I checked this. I check this one channel twice a day because, like I said, when you look at the numbers, it's actually more reassuring to watch than to inflate. Because, and here's the thing, like this is the one that pisses me off about the chat, because like most people don't seem to understand that the U.S. has the population of about 5 to 6 regular countries with big populations. So stop conflating them with everybody else. Yes, their death numbers seem high for the amount of time that they've had it.
But relatively speaking,
but if you cut that out, if you were to cut that down to where they are in the States, they're smaller numbers. You're looking at like 12 in this state and like maybe 20 in this state. And yeah, that's still concerning, but that's still comparing, you know, apples to pineapples.
The default position is screw everyone that isn't Britain, Kyla. Especially France.
Yeah, the Netherlands is taking up the pooter. Belgium is not really taking up the pooter, but they really should, because I know
They won't be because they just banned three-ways and orgies now.
Yeah.
That was still funny, though. I gotta admit, that
was
amazing to see, and I had to share that on Twitter, and I did. And I was like, so how are you guys knowing on how many people are in a house boinking? Like, do the cops peep into people's houses?
So how's the European Union, Belgium?
Yeah, I'm just like, how is this a thing, and why should we care?
I know, right?
You know, like, I mean, this is potentially the next big baby boom.
I think it will be, at least for Italy. You know, it is because they're all flirting with each other, like.
But they're Italians. What did you expect?
That's what makes them charming. You know, it's that little thing that they do that you're like, yeah, you know what? You're kind of dumb as fuck, but you're so cute. I like Italian ladies, though. The one time that I was there when I was a little bit younger and enjoyed a trip to Europe, the ladies that guided us were so feisty and funny. I was like, you were 100% better than a lot of the men. I mean, the men were nice too, but like, let's be real. With Italian men, if you're not hot, they don't really give two shits. Unless you're their mother or their sister, if you're not hot, they don't really give two shits. I mean, they're not mean or anything. They're not going to be cruel to you. You're still somebody else's kid.
Yeah.
But they're not going to necessarily be like, oh, well, there you go, young lady. Over the moon, a pizza pie. They don't do that. That was my time there. I mean, there was the odd guy who flirted with me, but I was almost 230 pounds. So it's one of those things where 10 years from now, well, no, 10 years from now, I'm going to be old and still ugly. Crap. Shit. Italy!
Yeah, for sure.
Italy, you got to give me 3 years, okay? You got to get better in 3 years. When I'm a little bit thinner, I'm going to come there and be like, yeah. And then I'm going to go home because I don't really want to marry an Italian man because I don't speak Italian.
You love pasta, but not that much.
No. Yeah, let's just say the last thing I want to be worrying about is swimming with fishes.
No. I'll flirt and have fun and enjoy my time and go home with a guy being like, oh, she left me. And I'm like, I'm sorry. And your Italian women will love me for it because they're like, she went home and she didn't take any Armin. She's fine. I know that's a thing too. These are probably stereotypes but this is also stuff I've heard. So
let's be fair. The French stink and the Italians want to fuck everyone. Yeah. That's true.
Yep. In the Swiss.
Oh God, I'm offending a lot of people right now, aren't I?
Meh.
We all have our stereotypes, okay? I mean, like, I'm supposed to be some goofy lumberjack person who says an overabundance of a boot and A. I'm not saying it doesn't come out every once in a while when I'm doing impressions or, like, if I've been with some hardcore northerners. You know what I mean?
I'm just, yeah.
Let's just say, when people say Britain is an arsehole, they are an arsehole. The entire country. Every single one of them. Because they will mock everyone.
Oh, yes. That's one of the reasons I wanted to go there. Like, I was going to go there being like, you know what? They're going to trash the shit out of my country, and I'm okay with that. I mean, sometimes I'll be a little hurt because you've had years to work on that skill as a country. A long time to work on that skill. And that's one of the, you know, you got to go to study the masters when you really want to get really good at the sarcasm and brain fucking. Yeah, I know that's what it is. You know, screw with people's heads a little bit.
Sarcasm and the deadpan humor. That's
yeah.
Oh, so you're a potato-loving crowd. What a surprise!
Well, my mom's side is Austrian, so I mean she's not really German, but let's be real. If you go back further enough in history, there was connections there was relations.
To be fair, let's be honest. It was the Austrians that caused World War II.
Yeah.
Well, you're far from the truth on that one. Yes, it was Austrians World War One.
Oh no, I was referring to Hitler as the Austrian that caused World War II.
Oh, yes, for sure. I mean, in hindsight, that art school was probably kicking themselves in the ass.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
So,
And maybe his mother shouldn't have died so soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hitler was fucked.
Yeah. And then the syphilis taking over.
And the whole World War One, that sure shit didn't do any favors.
No, exactly.
And the Treaty of Versailles.
Yes. A lot of mistakes were made.
And the Wall Street crash. Yeah, a lot of things happened.
Yeah.
Well, considering you're both German and Irish by ancestry, you know what? To be fair, Kyla, you probably are a happy drunk.
Who says he's not drunk right now?
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, he could be lying and saying that he's not. But we really know the truth.
Yeah, well, we all have our stereotypes. It's one of those things where I really know who I'm talking to from the left, because when they refer to white people, I'm like, which ones? We're different. Or when they refer to black people, I'm like, which ones? They're different. Even the ones in the U.S., I don't know if you know this, but like they're different state to state, even like county to county, they're different. But with us, it's a little bit more extreme, because like if you go like country to country in Europe, completely different cultures. I know sometimes the dress styles look similar because a lot of people don't know textiles past what they see in magazines, but all those dresses are different. They're all marking different countries. They do different dances, different languages, different food. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of difference, but they're still different.
Yeah, for sure.
And we make fun of each other because we have long histories of like.
Well, I mean, the biggest people to take a piss on here in Canada still are the Newfies. So
yeah, you know what resurfaced? It was an old joke, and I'm pretty sure you've heard this one before, and I'm surprised it came up because I got spanked for telling that one once. But it was about Newfies making submarines out of screen doors.
I forget how it goes, but yeah. Oh my god, that sounds a little hilarious.
And I saw it and I'm like, that used to be a slur in Canada.
Yeah.
And that's how times have changed, because you're white and I'm white, and apparently that's no longer a slur.
Well, of course.
I still don't say that unless you're really particularly special Newfie, and then I do say it, and it's not because I'm being racist. It's because I legit now think you're the mentality of somebody who would, but I would still say that about somebody from other provinces and even my own.
Oh, I've been out to Alberta. There are some real special people out there.
Sure are. We're no different. We're no different.
The one thing that I never got wrapped my head around was truck nuts. Like, I have no idea what purpose that they have. Like, it's these things that you hang off of the back of the tailgates or from the bottom of the trailer hitches on trucks, and they're just scrotums, plastic scrotums that just hang from your truck, and I'm just like, the fuck is this for? Yeah, you're really baller there having your truck nuts, overcompensating for something there, Yeah,
I don't know what that's for. If they had an explanation for it, I could understand, but that could just be some goof whose dad did it because he just needed to hang some chain somewhere, and so he put it there and just never took it off.
Yeah.
Like how sometimes grandma always gets a bone cut off of a roast because her pan's too small to fit it.
Yeah, no, exactly. But that's the one thing that I never understood was the whole truck nuts thing. And then definitely the four-way stop, the bigger vehicle always wins. And it's just okay.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you that one. If I knew somebody who did it, I'd ask them but sometimes they don't know either. It's oh, we just do it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just there's just a lot of things, but then again, of course, being from the island where it's just whatever is normal tradition for us would be off-putting to somebody else.
Yeah.
Sometimes, salt beef.
Well, that's the thing with us is we are very culturally different. When you really look at us, there's the common. It really is kind of a federal Canadians are very like part federal, part provincial, because provincially, culturally, we're very different. But then there's also the part of us where like collectively as Canadians, that part of the culture is across the board. Locally we're, you really are going to a completely different country. Like if you go from where I am to the Maritimes, which I do want to go someday. Like I want to see the colorful houses and things. Like, I know there's some beautiful places in New Brunswick and in Newfoundland and stuff like that. I don't know that I do a tour or something, but my mom went and she came back with pictures and I was like, oh, that looks like fun. I just don't like seafood that much. I'm sorry.
There are other things than seafood out there. I can guarantee you that. Which
is good. It's one of those things where like when I say that, I'm like, listen, I wish I did like seafood, because there's a lot of seafood that I see people cook that looks amazing. And then it tastes like fish.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good to know I'm not the only person here that doesn't like seafood.
I'm a bit of a seafood snob for obvious reasons, because once you had like same day caught fish, you can never go back.
Now, don't get me wrong. I am the type of polite person to at least try something, but I'm more inclined to order my own dish, like something that I know for sure that I'm going to like. And then like if I'm with someone, like say I went with my mom, or like I had a partner or something I went with and they ordered some seafood, I would ask to try a bite. Because it doesn't mean like, maybe someday I do find somebody who cooks something that hey, that was pretty good. At least I now know I have something to come back for or something. I do have that belief, but like, it's just one of those things. There are certain flavors in fish that, because I have had really fresh food. Like I haven't necessarily had fresh food from the sea, but I've been to places where like really remote lakes in the middle of nowhere, and had, caught an hour ago trout, just been flayed by my dad. He's floured it up and we're going to just do a quick fry. And he does a pretty good job of it. That should be tasty as hell. All I taste is fish.
With a bit of black pepper, salt, garlic, onion powders.
Yeah, exactly.
Properly done with that. Yeah.
It should be fantastic. Like there's no reason that shouldn't taste good. The only stuff I've managed to do, which oddly enough is still seafood, is clams. And clams it's just because they're a basic mussel. They absorb whatever you cook them in. But there's still a little tiny hint of a bit of a seafoody flavor to it, but it's so mild that I can just pretend I don't taste it. I do want to try one in a good, like a tomato version of a clam chowder, because the only one I've really had is the cream version, and cream is magical because it's bad for you. I have a firm belief of that. But yeah, that's one of those things I do want to try. Is a good clam chowder with tomato, just to see the difference, because tomato is still an umami flavors, I believe is what is described as nowadays. Is the posh cook thing to do. I don't know. But they're not wrong. It is a mellower.
Yeah.
I haven't been in a proper proper kitchen in a while. It's been some time. I do watch some traveling shows and some people who cook and stuff, but it's amazing how quickly the technology in the kitchen does actually change, like techniques and new things that come out. And
yeah,
I'm obsessed with making croquettes. I don't know why. It's so easy to do. And I'm like, this is not the time to be eating fatty foods, Jen.
Yeah, but if it helps them survive, then why not, right? I mean,
I had regrets because I don't know if you have one, but like I don't have a proper freezer. My freezer is the one on my fridge, which is the size of a microwave.
So you don't have a full size fridge then?
No, it's small. So it's one of those things where I'm constantly eyeballing. I would never wish harm on my parents, but I'm like, can you just loan me one of the freezers that they've converted two fridges in the house have been converted to freezers, and then there's one in my dad's garage, which is basically his man cave. It's kind of half freezer, half beer fridge.
Of course,
understandable. We're like, yeah, you do that. That's fine. But it's the 2 freezers downstairs because I'm like, if I had half of one of those, I would legit just make a mass amount of potatoes because bags of potatoes are one of the few things that, yes, they're expensive for what they are, but $5 for like a 2-kilogram bag of potatoes is still good to last you for a couple weeks. Okay. I'm like, mass amount of potato. Like I would have done that already. I would have made like at least 3 batches of like mashed potatoes and just frozen it. Because you thaw that and there's like a million things you can use it for.
KFC bowls, stuff like that.
Yeah. I even know how to
potato skins.
Yeah, I also know how to use it to make like a kind of pasta with it, like a potato kind of gnocchi.
Oh, gnocchi.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep doing that. My mom's like, yeah, I know I'm German, but Jen, you don't speak it good. And I'm like, well, you never taught me, okay?
Yeah, Mom, do your job and be right.
I mean, you would think that by the time the child is 2, that you would explain to your daughter that when she's saying Oma to her grandmother, that's the translation word for grandmother. It's just German.
Yeah.
I didn't find out until most of my friends were taking German in junior high. I'm like, that's silly, Mom.
Way to drop the ball, Mom.
It was just silly. I'm like, now I look so dumb. Like, how did you not clue into that? I'm like, I don't know. It's just like she told me not to call her grandmother, so I didn't call her grandmother. She's like, no, don't call her grandmother, call her Oma. I'm like, if you told me that Oma was grandmother in German, I would have been like, oh, so I'm still calling her grandmother. I'm just calling her, okay. Moms are so weird.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Oh, it's not a bad deal. It's not a big deal. So we're almost at 5:30, and I think you had something you were gonna mod.
Yeah, actually, I am shadow modding for Alex right now.
Okay, well that's.
He's doing a Twitch stream right now, so.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna close down because it's almost been 2 hours because we started at 3:25. So I mean we're a little bit short. But power talking for 2 hours.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Well, hey, you got it off your chest. You feel better. You're laughing. You're giggling. Now you just got to get something to eat. And
exactly. I'm thinking about croquettes. When you have like a full 10-minute period where you're talking about mashed potatoes, it's time to stop the stream.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? I can't blame the little potato for that. Although that would be funny.
Yeah,
I don't think he's really worthy of the little potato name because potatoes aren't bad for you if you cook them properly, and he totally is. All right, guys. Anything you want to shill out?
No. Just Irate Alex is going to be doing a charity stream next Thursday, I do believe. So I'll be modding for that. And hopefully we will see you guys there and just have some shits and giggles and a good time.
Okay.
So I myself am just waiting to hear back from the doctors for some testing that I had done before this whole coronavirus kicked off. And then I should be able to start making some content myself. So.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So. How about yourself, Arms? I know that sometimes you join BG and sometimes I know that you join... Peter and some yeah, you do some stuff.
I have my own, Twitch channel.
Yeah, I joined you this morning. Yeah. Well, this afternoon.
I don't know these
Twitch.tv/ArmedKillerV2.
And it was fun. It was fun. His game is a little glitchy, though. I do feel for you because some of that was funny, but some of it was like I could feel your frustration.
I just got knocked across the.
He got he got bitch slapped by a ma'am.
A super Karen.
It was Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you got bitch slapped hard.
Yeah.
It was just like I said. It was a really quick scene to show up, and I was like, that was frustrating but funny.
At first, I thought it slapped me out of the map. No, the AI was just that retarded; it couldn't path its way to me.
That is amazing.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So I'm not sure when I'm going to stream again. I'm a little bit busy tomorrow because I need to help my mom get some groceries. So
yeah, no worries.
But if I do something, I might be aiming for Friday because let's be real, my Tuesday, Thursday was mostly because I was trying to not invade Bloodwings time, and because at that point nobody was streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and now everybody's free. So,
but yeah, speaking of shilling someone else's, yeah, I think I might be hopping on to BGs after this. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, guys, by all means, like, go watch Alex and go watch Blind Girl. She's, she's fun, and I'm sure she's just got as much to rant about as I did. So, if I do join you guys, it'll be probably after I get more stuff to drink.
There you go then.
Because I need some water.
Yeah, and I'm probably gonna go continue on with Alex's stream, but I need to get a bite too myself. I'm starving today.
All right. Okay, guys.
Thank you so much for having me on, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks for joining. I know it was last minute, and I didn't get everybody, but I'm glad I got you because, like I said, after reading that shit last night and the hashtag Hell No stuff, which was half fun. Some of it was really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I needed to get some stuff off my chest because I don't want to be a kooky, crazy lefty losing my mind. Lady. Yeah, I don't have those.
Also, thank you for having me on.
Oh yes, thanks for joining.
We need to, fill out the demographic and get the international take.
Well, it actually is important because, like, it legit is like everywhere you go right now. Like, how are things for you? Our government is gonna kill us.
Yeah, because over in Britain right now, unless you have a need and a right to be outside, they're gonna start finding you now.
Yeah,
apparently.
Not only giving one trip to exercise, unless you're, doing grocery shopping.
Yeah.
And what is that, a week?
No, that's a day.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But even then, it's still bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, it's crazy. So,
Boris Johnson essentially announced it yesterday.
Yeah, he did. He needs to get a proper haircut.
Oh, he's been looking like that for years.
Yeah.
Like, there's a part of me that finds it amusing, but there's another part of me who's like, yeah, you can buy a comb. Even Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
Even Trump owns a comb. I mean, he has a comb over.
Granted, have you seen some of our prime ministers?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had to deal with Theresa fucking May.
Her dancing.
Yes.
Oh, that was just like even as a Canadian, that made me cringe.
We had to deal with pig fucker Cameron and warmonger Tony goddamn Blair.
Yeah, he wasn't exactly a sex god. So
yeah, no. Considering our track records of prime ministers, no. At least I can say that at least we haven't had a drama teacher as a goddamn prime minister.
Yes, this is true.
See, here's the thing though. I'd rather have a drama teacher as a prime minister than a reality star host. Because that's what Trump's known for is because of
The Apprentice.
The Apprentice.
Which
right?
was
Yeah, my description of him as Mayor Pete from the Goofy movies, or Pete who sold cars, is both of them are accurate.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying, I'd rather have a teacher than a TV personality.
Granted, your drama teacher's fucking insane, and not only is he insane,
that analogy is that Trump
Yeah.
has been a lot more things than just a TV reality show person, you know. Whereas
He's a businessman first.
Whereas Trudeau, his only other job application was as an instructor for skiing.
Oh yeah, real prime ministerial material there.
You know,
well, at least he's teaching everybody not to impale themselves. He just might be digging himself that hole. But you know.
Yeah, no, he's now just telling everyone else to impale him instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, like we both have things that we can say are good or bad about both of them. I would trade Trump for Trudeau, though. I'm sorry if you don't like Trump, but like I would trade them because like at least I know, at least with Trump, I feel like he's easier to detect the lies from, because when he lies, it's
blunt.
Yeah. Whereas with Trudeau, he's so weaselly and underhanded. You know, he's letting all his guys lie for him while he's lying.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's the drama teacher in him. Like, you know, if you can lie to a student, you can lie to the general public. Plain and simple.
I think Kyler's got a good. I think Kyler says it best. Trump is a buffoon, a blowhard, and full of it.
Yep.
But as president, they've had worse.
Yes. I mean, Bush. Enough said about that one. Or Clinton. You know, I mean, the only guy to get impeached because he got a blowy, you know?
Yeah. What? All you had to say was that she at least enjoyed this dick.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It depends.
I'm pretty sure.
It depends on what you're definitely. Yeah, sorry.
I'm pretty sure a lot more people would like the president that had the balls to say, "Yeah, no, she was sucking on this dick."
Depends on your definition of was, or was it is. Something like that. It was just like, yeah, that's just like the fucking hilarity of it all right
that's
there.
like one of the promotion right here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Casting couches, we've all seen them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna
yes.
close this down because I keep forgetting and we keep going, and I am yawning again, and that's not good on a stream because it's interesting, but I need a little bit.
Yeah, you take it easy. You sound better now. You got a lot off of your chest. So.
Yeah, I feel much better. Like I said, that's what I was expecting more people to do. Is like do more streams, guys, and just let it out.
Streaming's fun.
It is.
All right.
Anyways,
Right.
talk to you. Bye.